Next on the agenda, item 4.08, briefing feasibility of swimming pool facilities in Nanjemoy.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to introduce myself. I am Eileen Minnick. I'm the Director for Recreation, Park, and Tourism. And joining me today, I'm happy to also introduce Mr. Sam Drury. Sam is our Chief of Recreation. So, Commissioners, if I could direct you to Board Docs. We have a PowerPoint in there. We were asked to gather some information regarding having a swimming pool in the western part of the county, the Nanjemoy area specifically. And what I would like to say, I'm sorry, my presentation's coming up slow. Our first slide kind of gives a little bit of background. Again, we were asked to research and present some options for a seasonal swimming pool in the Nanjemoy area for community use. And in doing that, we also felt it was important. Part of our background is to provide our commissioners with what we currently offer in the county, specifically through our Department of Recreation, Park, and Tourism. So slide 3 does reference our current aquatic facilities. As commissioners are aware, we have a wonderful partnership with our Board of Education. So the pools that are listed on slide 3 are all part of our high schools. We have 3 indoor pools. Lackey Indoor Pool came online. That was the first indoor pool in our school system around 2005. Next was North Point High School Pool. And then at St. Charles High School, that is our newest indoor pool, the Donald M. Wade Aquatic Center. We have operated outdoor pools for many, many years within our county, and these 3 outdoor pools that are listed are also at high schools, La Plata High School, Thomas Stone High School, and McDonough High School. Again, these are seasonal pools that we operate. We operate June through Labor Day. Once the students are out of school, we open up the pools, offer programs through the year, and we're real happy this past year we were able to stay open until Labor Day with the change in students going back to school following the Labor Day holiday. At our pools, we offer many programs, swim lessons, water safety, birthday parties, any kind of community use. We have a lot of partnerships. We partner with Dive Rescue. They come in, I believe it is Lackey Pool that we primarily have used for Dive Rescue to do some of their trainings and programs. We also partner with the school system as they're doing their high school swim teams. But we've also found swimming has been very well received in our county, and as commissioners know, we are surrounded by water here in Charles County. So water safety is also an important concept that we adapt in all our programs, as well as partner with the school system that does offer a 5th grade water safety program. And in our partnership, we provide the staffing, the certified lifeguards, and assistance with any of those programs that go on throughout the school year. But we have also expanded to have our own swim team. The high school swim teams do very well, but we started a youth program to actually have the younger youth participate in swimming and be able to groom them and help them build those skills, one just for pleasure and enjoyment and water safety, but also to hopefully be feeders for the high school program. So again, we do lots of partnerships that we're very, very proud of. On slide 4, is a listing of our fees and charges for our pools. If you're coming for a regular swim day, there's an admission fee. We do offer pool passes and memberships, as well as there are different fees associated for programs such as swim lessons or any of the health wellness programs that we do offer. One thing that is required, any youth under the age of 12, they must be accompanied by an adult or legal guardian. That individual does not have to pay to come to our pool, because we encourage grandparents to bring their grandchildren. If they choose not to swim, that's on them, so they do not need to pay, but they do need to help provide that supervision for the youth or they are at those facilities. Safety is first and foremost, and with our aquatics programs and any of our pools, we need to be very in tune and attentive because things can happen in a split second. We also, like I said earlier, have some memberships, punch cards, some other opportunities for those that use our facilities a little more regularly. But But we are an enterprise fund, so our budget for this current year, for fiscal year FY18, is $419,700. Any of the revenues that we generate from any of the programs that we do offer go right back into supporting what we do. It covers the costs, the operations, the equipment, the chemicals, anything that's needed for the various programs, any of the certifications. We work very hard to do certifications for our staff so that they're not being charged for all those certifications, because their time and work for us is very valuable. So it's a small thing we can do for our staff. Aquatic partnerships are listed on slide 5. We can't survive without partnerships in anything that we do. So I've only listed a few here for what we do within our aquatics field. Again, the Board of Education, valuable partner. We're using their facilities. We are in shared use facilities. With our outdoor pools, the Board of Education does not use those outdoor pools, and they allow us to come in and use them. But many of the pools are 30 or plus years. I believe they're all over 30 years old for our outdoor pools. So needless to say, wear and tear, just upkeep on the pools. So last year, we were able to renovate La Plata High School pool. Board of Education allowed us to do that because it is their facility that they own. But they did work with us, so we could renovate that pool, bring it up to better standards, resurface the whole pool, better sidewalks, plumbing, everything associated with that. Currently, we're working on Thomas Stone High School pool. That pool is out for RFP right now. We had an on-site meeting last Friday with potential bidders. I believe it closes February 1st, because that's our next pool that we need to renovate. Again, resurfacing, plumbing, coping, sidewalks, everything with that. But I'm happy to say last year the Board of Education was doing some repairs at Thomas Stone High School for some other things, so we were able to get a new pool deck last year. So that cost won't necessarily have to be incorporated in this year's RFP as it was with La Plata. So again, another way that we're partnering, and we need them and they need us. So it's a great process between us. We also work with the Board of Education. We provide at no cost pool passes to youth in transition. And my microphone keeps making a noise, so I'm sorry if I'm too close. I hope I'm not causing a problem for our TV crew. Pool passes, the students that are in transition. We work with a representative at their central office. They know the children that can really benefit from this. And these are pool passes that are provided. The youth can come, use any of our facilities throughout the school year, and we absorb that in our fees that we collect throughout the year with our programs. The summer meal program is another really valuable program in the summertime, and how we tie in, at least within the aquatics, and we tie in with our other recreation programs. Lackey is one of the eating sites, as it's called. The youth through the summer are able to receive nutritious meals. Also in the Nanjemoy area, Mount Hope Elementary School is another main location. The school system coordinates transportation to Mount Hope, and I also believe Lackey, and Mr. Drury will address some of that as he takes over the presentation after this slide to give you more details on that. But again, another very, very valuable program, and since it's at Lackey, we actually hope some of those youth in transition passes can be used there also. And then I had already mentioned the 5th grade water safety program. Again, very important that we educate those on water safety, particularly our youth, and we support the school system in providing the staffing. So now the next slide is going to take us to the meat of why we're here on some options for consideration by our commissioners. I will pass it off to Mr. Drury, and he will take you through the next 3 slides. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Looking forward, as we looked at several different options as we tried to evaluate how best we could serve meeting the needs of aquatic facilities within Nanjemoy. This first slide here is looking at the possibility of new pool construction. If we were to break ground and build an outdoor swimming pool to be able to serve that area, we worked with a pool contractor that we've used in the past and just try to get some general estimates here. Just the pool shell itself, we're we're looking at approximately $500,000, but that's not including a bathhouse, any site work, basically any surrounding areas there within that. Property acquisition would be an additional cost there with it. And again, when you start adding those, again, that $500,000, I don't want to be misleading, that would definitely escalate in the tune of a multi-million-dollar project, and we would have to work with capital services and get this as a CIP project. We would need to find a suitable location for this facility, and that may prove difficult depending on the water table and the zoning regulations. Again, with Nanjemoy being a low-lying area in certain areas, just being able to dig down to put in an in-ground swimming pool may prove to be something we would have to work through. And as far as making sure we meet all the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene regulations, who were regulated by operating a public swimming pool. Once we build a swimming pool, the next part of it would be obviously to maintain that. I've looked at our estimates based off of McDonough outdoor pool. McDonough is traditionally our slower pool out there, and we get quite a few people that do visit in the neighborhood community areas there and camps, but our programs are a little bit lower compared to to La Plata Pool or to Thomas Stone. But we're looking at approximately $45,000 to $50,000 to operate a summer swimming pool for 12 weeks. And revenue-wise, looking at our drop-ins, again, you're looking at probably $5,000 to $10,000 of revenue. Again, our current enterprise fund that we currently have would not support that, so if we did look at doing any sort of operation with things, we would need some additional funding there to help support that. Additional partnerships that we looked at, what else is there in Nanjemoy? We've had discussions and researched the area there. Both Camp Merrick at the Lions Club and Camp Accomplish have outdoor swimming pools. This is something that we've had the idea we would still need to have further conversations with them, but this is something that our division may be able to partner with these camps out there and be able to provide swimming opportunities to the people in that area. It would be definitely something we'd have to work out with their schedules, what their availability would be, but this would be an opportunity that we could definitely explore a little bit further there.
And if I may,
sure.
I did have conversations with folks at Camp Merrick, and I know they'd be very interested in talking to you all about that and how that might work out. But one of the things we don't understand is that obviously we would be restricted by the use of it, because based on their programs and so forth. But I think they would be someone certainly worth having some conversation.
Yep, no, absolutely. And again, it's not, Camp Millwood actually, before they had the swimming pool, they used to bring their campers out to McDonough High School.
Sure.
So again, we definitely would work with them, but it obviously would be at their mercy with their facilities there. So
great.
If we would, that could definitely be an opportunity that we could explore further.
Thank you.
An additional opportunity that we looked at, obviously transportation is a need in that area, and again, trying to meet the needs, even if we built a facility or we provided facilities, how do we get the people to the facility there on that side? We did look at Nanjemoy, the Nanjemoy route with Van Gogh. Lackey Pool, when Lackey was first built, was on the Nanjemoy route. When they did their last transit study, it was removed based on ridership, so that's not a current route. But another option that we could look at would be the possibility of contracting with a school bus vendor to do a route in that area and transport people to and from swimming pool. An estimated cost with that, this is based off of what our camp usage fees are. We currently contract with a school bus provider for our summer camps, provide transportation with us. Again, a rough estimate would be $300 a day, looking at approximately $25,000 for the summer. This may also have an additional cost if we are programming the bus, where we're having staff that is on the bus basically providing supervision to and from door to door on that side and providing the opportunities to get them to the pool and then take them back to the pool. And that would be something that we would have to look at regarding our supervision, because again, our policies are that children 12 and under must be accompanied. Again, if we are able to do it as a program registration and we're providing staff for that, that may be something we can work around, but again, that would require additional funding through that. So those were the options that we looked at. I'll turn it back over to Ms. Minnick here as we wrap things up with some additional considerations with the options that we have here.
So our last slide, Commissioners, I just have some information here. Water safety, again, that's first and foremost. It's important that we educate people on water safety, but it does bring the concern, as Mr. Drury did address, if we're able to do some transportation and not always parents or an adult are able to accompany the youth, one of the possibilities could be, again, us providing the staff the programming for that to assist with the cost. But anytime anyone comes to our pools, we have lots of camps that come visit in the summer because we are the only public pools, so to speak, in the county. The neighborhood pools are all private within the HOAs. Any of our camps that come, we do run the children through a swim test. The current pools we use are outdoor pools. They do not have zero entry access. They're a basic 3-foot to 12-foot pool. Some are a little deeper, some are a little less. We do not have wading pools or anything. So when our youth do come, we run them through a swim test to make sure that we know and our staff know on site, you know, if the children should not be in the deep end or what they may need, if they need a life vest to assist them at different times or anything to that effect, due to all our various pool depths. Sustained funding, I just do need to remind the Commissioners we are an enterprise fund, and we do well, but we do have trouble meeting a lot of our costs. So if there are some additions, we would need to look at other sources with that. And if this was successful, I just wanted to say that we could then possibly have expansion to other areas in our county. So just wanted to put that out there also for the Commissioners in all their considerations. Again, we're very welcome to see if we can go further with other partnerships. Commissioner Murphy, you mentioned Camp Merrick. I do know they have some information also on their website that they're looking for different partnerships outside of their specialty camp time. So they are a very good supporter of the Nanjemoy community area also, as well as Melwood, Camp Accomplish, and everything that they do with their programs. So with that, I'll leave it to the Commissioners.
Good. Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for doing this. You know, this all started with an elementary school student through their Iron Men program at Mount Hope, Nanjemoy, who asked the question, you know, can we do this? And so thank you for spending the time on his behalf, you know, to give us this information and to look into it, and on the behalf of all the other children there. But I have a question. Do you know, I think you mentioned it here, but at Mount Hope Nanjemoy Elementary School, do they offer meals during the summer?
Yes, sir, they do. They are part of the Eating Together program. Okay. Through the years, that has transitioned in many different ways, okay. And I believe the most successful has been where it is now at Mount Hope. Mr. Drury does have some more information because, again, we partner with the school system with that, as well as within community services. The local management board helps provide some funding.
Okay. So how do the kids get to that school typically? My
understanding in talking with the public schools is that this past year they did start 2 routes that they did bus kids. They did a pickup and they bused the kids to Mount Hope Nanjemoy for the meals, both kids and adults there within that program. They had, over the course of 8 weeks, they had 1,100 meals that were served there, looking at anywhere basically between 5 to 25 meals a day, depending on the day there and their routes there. They had 2 bus routes, and again, their transportation, they were looking at about $30,000 to bus those kids to and from that facility.
And that comes out of their budget. That's not out of your enterprise fund.
Correct.
That's not out of this fund, right?
Correct.
And so are there any possibilities or discussions about working with the Board of Education that as long as they're transporting the kids there for meals, that they may be willing to work with us to then take them, say, to Lackey?
I did start that conversation as I was getting these numbers with their office over there. It'd be something that we could definitely explore further. Again, one of the things we would really have to iron out would be the overall supervision, sure. But it is a possibility.
Okay. I mean, I think that might be worth exploring, because as long as we know we already have kids that have, I understand transportation is a big issue, particularly that part of the county. But if they've already got something maybe set up, how do we perhaps piggyback on that, and we already have kids there at the school, and then offer this as something for their day, you know, to maybe and it seems that Lackey, or perhaps one of the others might be another option. It's just an idea, but if you would, do you mind following up on that, please, and seeing if that may be a possibility? Because certainly the other options that are given in terms of location, the cost of building, even if we could do that, it's not going to happen right away. So maybe that this could be certainly something on the interim.
Absolutely. We'll consider that further and work with them. I do want to point out that this was last year's. We haven't started having our meetings this year for our Lunch on Us program, and not sure of their routes, and they're looking at things forward. But we'll definitely be bringing this up. And again, we sit on those meetings as we partner with them at a lot of our locations. So absolutely.
Good. Thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate
And with that being said, the timing could be good since those meetings have not started. So we will gather that information and come back before the commissioners. One thing I did leave out, I did look at some of our county-owned properties too, if we were to go forward with a full outdoor pool. Again, location can be an issue, water table can be an issue. Our Nanjemoy Community Center, county-owned, not a possibility to do it there because, again, the high water table, we actually have a mound system there,
Right.
But it sure would have been nice if we could have tied that in. We'd have the facility, it would be used more in the summer months. We have some property outside of the core of Nanjemoy, Doncaster Forest area. We have approximately 180 to 200 acres of parkland that was bought a number of years ago. Not in the central area that we're looking for, but if we were to go that route, that is another option, and a couple other very small parcels that we have in the Nanjemoy area. I was just trying to research everything to keep costs lower if we needed to go that route, but we will follow up with the Board of Education and come back with the commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Robinson?
Well, that segues into my question. When you mentioned the Board of Ed, what about Mount Hope and Nanjemoy as a location for the pool itself? That solves some of the transportation problems?
That's a possibility. There are 14 acres. I did research Mount Hope as far as acreage. I did not research as far as, how they are as far as water table or anything associated with that.
Well, it's called Mount Hope, so I'm guessing the elevation may be a little higher.
Hopefully. But I think that's, again, another question we could inquire with the school system. Elementary schools traditionally do not have pools due to the youth and security and safety reasons, but if that was an option, a lot of those things could then be incorporated as it goes forward. I do think, though, gathering information for this upcoming summer and trying to see what we can do with a bus route and tie that in somehow with the school system and then bring it back to the commissioners and see if we can at least start there.
Well, great. That would be very helpful. We really appreciate it. I know you put a lot of work into getting you this far, but if you would continue with the conversations and see if there's something that may be able to be worked out, we would appreciate that. Okay? Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Commissioners, next on your agenda, your